joined in for full time, and it's really small. So
Wow.
perfect, because she could still go, get out of the house, be someplace,
Right.
and I can get back to work because she's at school. So
Oh, that's good.
yeah.
Very nice.
Hey, Donna.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing great. Great to see you again.
You too.
Is Ian going to be joining us?
He's on a meeting. He's on a call for work, and I don't know if it's an
Okay.
emergency or something, because I think it should have been over by now, but it's not. So I can't
Okay.
really disturb him. So we could start, and he could either join us or I don't know. I can't tell you.
Okay. Well, what I'll do also is I'll record the conversation,
Okay.
and I can send you the recording just in case you guys want to refer back to anything.
Perfect. Yeah, I didn't want to leave you guys hanging, so I located an iPad so I can get on, and I'm like, we'll just don't wait for him.
Yeah, no worries. That's the nice thing about doing this through Zoom is it's so efficient, but it's also it's our COVID friendly protocol. But I really like it because we can record conversations, and I can share my screen, and we could do a lot together. I actually prefer to do it over Zoom nowadays, just because it's easier and we can go over so much more.
Oh, good.
So yeah, let's go ahead and dive right in. The purpose of today is going to be going over basically what the process looks like for listing your home, all the things that we do to help you get the most amount of money in the time frame that you want, and also have it just be a great experience for you guys. The other thing we're going to be talking about is the money. That's always the elephant in the room, so we'll definitely talk about that today. So we'll have a really good idea of what your property is likely going to sell for, and then at the end of the conversation, we'll have a clear plan on marketing strategy, what we're going to list the property for, timing of all that. So we'll get through all that today, and if everything looks good, then what we'll do is we can agree on a date for us to move forward on it. And there is an agreement between our broker and you and Ian that it's just a 4-page document basically saying that you're enlisting us to help you sell your home. And once we have that signed, then we just give it to our broker. Our broker knows that we're working with you. And then the process begins. We could start to set up photography appointments and all that good stuff.
All right.
So before we do that, do you have any questions or any feedback from the last time that we had spoke?
No, I don't think so. Just curious to see how much you think the house is worth. I've been checking on the comps in the area. I think there are 4 homes currently listed in our neighborhood right now. I know 2. One already has, I think, multiple offers, and the other one is contingent. One is really nasty, and the other one is smaller than our house, but in like the 300 price range, which I have a feeling our house is going to be in that same price range. So.
Okay, great. What's the address of the one that you were looking at that you think is most comparable? And I'll see if we pulled that up.
Okay, let me find it. I believe it's a smaller house. I think it might be another 3-2, but it has a pool as well. Let me see if I can find it. It's in here somewhere. Okay. If it is still even listed anymore, let me get to it. All right, it would be 4063 Southeast Jacaranda Street.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it says it's a 3-2 with 1160 square feet. So we are a little bigger.
Mm-hmm.
But
yeah, this one I saw. I didn't use it as a comp just because it is significantly smaller. There was actually 2 comps that I found that were a lot more apples to apples.
okay.
So and are higher priced. So that's probably a good thing.
If you're looking in our neighborhood, oh, okay, because that's the highest price in our neighborhood right now. I'm sure there's other stuff outside the neighborhood, but there's another 3-2, 1,500 square feet that has a backup B, listed and another one that's contingent that was listed for 299.9, and that's about 1,500 square feet as well.
Okay.
So that seems to be the going rate in this neighborhood.
Yeah, yeah, that's definitely the ballpark, and we'll go over kind of what our thoughts were. But I'm going to show you the two comps that I believe are very comparable to yours. And this
Okay.
process, what we're actually going to do to determine your price is that we actually decide on the price together. There's a recommendation that I kind of already have just based on my research, but the idea is that if we can go through the comps together, I can kind of show you what I'm looking at. I can also, ask you what your feedback is on how your home compares. And through that process, what I found is that we're usually pretty spot on in terms of agreeing on the price. So 9 times out of 10, the price that Mirza and I came up with is going to be about the price that that you guys come up with as well if we go through the process together. So
Okay.
that's the whole idea. And then sometimes if the price isn't what the seller was expecting, and they want lower, we'll usually list it higher than what they expect, and usually that's not a tough conversation. But sometimes if a seller wants significantly more, but the data just doesn't show it, that would be the only instance where, maybe it just might not be a good fit for us to work with them, just because we don't want to overpromise and underdeliver. So we try to be as realistic as possible. And then one of the things that we'll also go over are all of the things that we do outside of what the normal realtor does to get you as many buyers to see your home as possible. And the more buyers that you have that go into your home, the better opportunity that you have to get the highest price, the best possible terms. And so it's really a quantity thing that creates the quality offer, right? So if you have 3 buyers that come into your home, or if let's say your neighbor's selling their home and they have 3 buyers that come into their home, but you've got 15 buyers that come into your home, even if it was the same home and the same sort of condition, most likely you're going to be the one that gets the better offer just because you have more buyers that are seeing it.
Okay.
So that's the whole philosophy of that. So based on what you've shared, I'm very confident that I think I think the end of this conversation will go very well. But any other questions that you have before we begin, or any awarenesses or things that you'd like to share before before we dive in?
I don't think so, unless Mirza thought that she came up with something that she thought we needed to work on. I mean, I know we have some decluttering and stuff, but I think other than that, she said the house is fine to show once we clean it up a little.
Yeah, for sure. No, everything was great. All right, well, let's go ahead and dive in. What I'm going to do first is I'm going to share my screen.
Okay.
And we're going to go over, actually the first thing that I'm going to go over, did we go over the seller's guide the last time that we spoke?
I know you showed me something that had like a brochure maybe. I'm not sure exactly.
This thing right here.
Okay. Yeah, I think so.
Okay. So we briefly touched on this. I just want to kind of go over this again. This is kind of like the 10,000 foot view of all the things that we do in order to help you get the home sold and ultimately get more buyers into the home. So it really comes down to the marketing. Mm-hmm. So the marketing that we do, we're really intentional about doing everything we can to position your home the best way possible. And to do that, we invest in the best photography. We have something called HDR, high dynamic range photography. And there's a study that was done that online, when people see high dynamic range photos compared to regular photos, the high dynamic range photos gets clicked on 60% more times. Okay. So we just want to do it. We focus on little things like that make a big difference, because if you have 60% more buyers, that's the difference between getting 10 buyers in your home versus 16 buyers in your home. And, that could be the difference maker between you guys walking away with, a certain price or, a price that's much higher. So, okay. So we do high dynamic range photography. We also do like the drone photography. Every one of our listings gets a professionally produced video where we're highlighting highlighting the home, highlighting the features of the home, as well as kind of creating a little bit of like, we want to convey as much of the experience of what it could be like for somebody to live in that home without actually being in it. That's what we found really helps out with giving the buyer confidence that, okay, man, I really like this home. I've seen a lot of this home, and we're also putting our best foot forward, so to speak, because we're doing it really nice. But the idea is like, once they see that marketing, that they get inspired enough to set up a showing to go see it in person. So that's kind of like the steps that have to happen in order for somebody to come into the home. And then once they're in the home, the house can pretty much sell itself once we give them all the features, tell them about, like we usually have all of those features. They know about all the features ahead of time before they even step foot in the house. So they have a really good idea of the value. And what I found is that if we can create an experience that also creates an expectation of the home that matches their experience once they walk into the home, then we have a buyer that's most likely willing to place an offer on the property. Okay. So we want, those are the two main components, is we want to set an expectation of what living in that home could be like. And then once they walk in, if they have an experience that's consistent with that expectation, then oftentimes that's what's going to generate an offer. So that's kind of, what we do in order to kind of have your property out there virtually. 99% of home buyers start their home search online. Mm-hmm. So kind of like what you were doing with looking at the comps, if somebody wants to know anything about real estate, most of the time they're just typing it into Google or to Zillow or Realtor.com or some place like that. So, part of what we do is, we're going to parse all of the information and all of the, the details about your house, all the photos, the videos. We're going to work with obviously the big websites. We wouldn't be doing you proper service if your listing wasn't on those websites. But we also work with about 900 different websites, so that if somebody's looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath home in Stuart, yours is going to pop up. Okay. So that's the whole idea. That's how people do their home searches nowadays. And so we want to obviously make sure that your home can be found. This is the part that, since we work as a team, this is the most important part, kind of the double-edged sword of marketing your property really well. Is the good news is that we get a ton of phone calls. The bad news is that if it was either just me or just Mirza, we wouldn't be able to handle the amount of phone calls that come in because of how much marketing we actually do. And so that's why we have a team in place, so that we can, and everything's in our CRM, our client relationship management system. We're very organized with all that. So once somebody comes in and submits an inquiry, we're reaching out to them within 5 minutes without fail. They're getting a text message, an email, oftentimes a phone call right away. And so we want to create as much of that urgency in how we respond to those inquiries, because the average the average person nowadays has an 8-second attention span. So I think just, over time, our attention span gets smaller and smaller, just because I think the average person sees like 800 advertisements a day. And so it's just easy for us to kind of filter out all that noise. And so the byproduct of that is that as a society, we've just gotten smaller attention spans. How that's translated into our biggest challenge as realtors is when somebody clicks on a home and requests information, if we don't get to them right away, the chance of us getting connected with them and even having a good conversation about your home that they were interested in the chance of that happening goes down tremendously. And especially if we don't get to them until the next day, they'll probably forget about that home, or they maybe saw 3 or 4 others, or maybe 30 or 40 others, and they're like, yeah, I don't even remember which one I was looking at. So that's why it's so important for us to get a hold of them right away. Obviously, if it's like midnight, which, believe it or not, we actually do get quite a people, searching around on Google at midnight. And obviously those are the only exceptions to that. But, we get a hold of them right when we open at 8 a.m. And so pretty much from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., 7 days a week, we've got systems and people in place to be able to connect with those people that are most interested in your home. So we talked about that a little bit, I think, in our last conversation,
Yeah.
right? So, so this is how it relates to you. Basically, we're going to sell your home faster and for more money. Most of the time we sell homes for a little over 4% more than the typical realtor, just because of all that marketing and how we, how we handle that, that experience. So any questions about that?
No.
Okay. So one of the other really cool things about what we do, and because we have such a large database, we've got about 26,000 people in our database. It's all independently owned. The Dean's List Group owns it, so it's not like we share that database with a bunch of other realtors. It's only us on our team that have worked really hard to develop those relationships and to also have the amount of advertising to create that large of a database. However, not only are we searching through our database for people that could potentially purchase your home, but we're always looking to connect with new people, because somebody that, maybe hasn't been in the real estate market and looking for a home over the last 10 years, chances are we haven't connected with that person. So let's say, today they start, searching around online. That's now a new person that we want to develop a relationship with and be able to talk about your home if it's a good fit for them, right? So this is our digital and social media marketing plan. So this is an idea of kind of the reach that we have. So right here, this is over the last 30 days, we've had just over 123,000 views on our advertisements on social media, which include YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. Facebook's really the main one, but in collective, 123,000. And that number usually is between 100 and 150,000 every month. So just in the last 30 days, we've exposed the sellers that we're currently working with, which right now we're working with 8 sellers that have their home on the market with us. And we've procured, like I said, about 123,000 views. These are the active home buyers that are searching on our website right now. I just pulled this report about 20 minutes ago. So we've got 4,765 active home buyers. Doesn't necessarily mean that every single one of them is going to want your home or if it's going to be a good fit for them, but that just gives you an idea of, even though we have 26,000 people in our database, we have, a lot of people that either are past clients that are not in the market anymore, people that were in the market but are not anymore. So the most important number is actually this number, because these are the number of people in our actual database that are searching for homes and have said to us, hey, I'm in the market for a home. This is a number right here that with the partnership that we have with Facebook allows us to target buyers before, and these are people that are not in our database, but people that Facebook basically says, hey, this person, Facebook basically tracks everything that we do, even when we're not on Facebook. It'll track the different sites that we click onto. So if somebody's on Zillow or Realtor.com or another real estate website, Facebook will take a note of that. And because of our partnership with them, even though they won't give us their information unless they actually opt in or click on one of our advertisements, they'll at least say, hey, if you give us your ad of the listings that you have, we'll actually put that ad in front of the, in this case, 1,400 people that we believe could be somebody that, would be interested in that ad.
Okay.
So that's another number of, people that we're trying to get into our database through our marketing. So, and then obviously here are a few websites that we do. So right now, within 10 miles of your address, what our marketing company that we work with, and between Facebook and YouTube and Instagram, they've estimated about 14,000 people that are one of these three criteria, either likely to move soon, which is usually like within the next 12 months, first-time home buyers, or somebody that's recently browsed for homes for sale. So we've got 14,000 people that, we're going to be targeting to get new people into our database, as well as the people that are already within our database, which is that number right there, 4,765. So here's an example of kind of what the ads could look like. We actually have 6 different ads for each stage of the listing. Once we actually go live with your listing, there's going to be an ad that says, hey, this listing is brand new to the market. Here's all the information about it. So this is where we kind of build the buzz about your listing. Anytime that we run an open house, which we always run an open house, we always launch our properties on a Thursday, because what happens is when we launch our properties on a Thursday, for the next 4 days, they're going to have this little tag next to them on all the different websites that say new listing. And on a lot of different websites, they'll actually put the newest listings first. And so we get a lot of views in those first 4 days. And so we want to be really strategic with how we use that extra marketing and that extra, those extra eyes that we're getting your listing in front of. So if we were to launch your property on a Monday, then by Thursday, it drops out of that new listing category. Now, if we are running an open house that Sunday, all of the people that are searching for homes on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday are less likely to be able to see your home because it's not in the new listing category.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? So that's why on Thursday, we like to launch our properties so that on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, we have it as a new listing, and we get some extra marketing because we also have an open house that Sunday after we launch it on Thursday.
Okay.
The best time to do an open house from our experience and the data that we've collected is on Sunday between 12 and 3 o'clock p.m. So during that time, we would just, ask you guys to go to the beach, go out to lunch, do something with the family. And that would be the time where we'd be inviting as many buyers as we possibly can into the home so that we can ideally get the home sold. Our goal is to always get your first offer that weekend.
Okay.
Lately, we've been very successful at creating at least one offer over the weekend, but that's always our intention is to drive as much traffic as possible. And believe it or not, about 50% of our entire advertising budget is spent within the first 4 days. So we're really pushing the listing when it's brand new, and that's also what helps us sell homes faster, is because we're putting it out there for more people to see right from the very beginning. So once we have an open house, anytime we have an open house, there's also going to be another ad for that. If we get to the point where the home's not sold after 30 days that it's been on the market, we have another ad that we, through just testing it and having experience with digital marketing, has a stronger call to action. So we just kind of refresh, bring it to people that may have already seen it, but just bring it to them in a new light that maybe they didn't resonate with from the very first ad. So we kind of change it up a little bit, make it look a little bit different to try and get some new traffic in there.
All right.
If we ever do a price reduction, we have a new ad. We have an ad just for that. And then 60 days listed. So that's, we're changing it up again, stronger call to action. And then of course, once it goes under contract and once it actually sells, we have another ad for that. So we have this audience of people on Facebook that kind of follow our listings because we're doing this constantly. Every single person in our database, especially those 4,700 people, we're putting our ads in front of them as well, because not only are they searching on our website, they're also, a lot of them are followers of our Facebook. So we're putting our ads in front of those people as well. Those are really the people that we're spending the money to get your property in front of. So there's a few different archetypes of people that we're constantly targeting to put ads in front of them. So whether they're, a new parent, veteran, investor, relocation buyer, there's some that aren't going to be relevant. Like I'm probably not going to want to advertise your property to investors, because investors, usually buy properties that need a lot of work and that they just want a cheap price. So there's some archetypes that are better than others. And that's part of, what we do, is positioning your property to get to the right traffic. Any questions about any of this so far?
No.
Okay.
Ian's here.
Hey, Ian.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Thanks.
So what we're going over, Ian, are just some things that we do, kind of how our marketing works.
John will catch me up. You don't have to start over. I apologize. I've been working, just got done.
Oh, it's all good, man. I also have been recording this just in case. So if you do want, some of this stuff might just bore you to death, but I always like to talk about it just so you can kind of see what we're doing. We like that level of transparency. But yeah, it's all recorded. So anything that you missed, you can catch up on if you feel called to it. So ultimately, our goal is to get your listing in front of the right people at the timing that's right for them as well. Obviously, if we're marketing to a bunch of people that are not in the market, our ads aren't going to be as effective, and we're not going to get as many inquiries. And so that's why this relationship that we have with Facebook is so important, is so that we can use their data and their aggregators to put your ad in front of the people that are most likely in the market right now. So that's kind of the advertising of people that are not in our database. This right here are people that are in our database. So we've got a total of 9856 of just overall buyers. Some of them are in the market, some of them are not. But we've got 9,856 buyers in our database that we independently owned. Out of all of them, I cross-referenced your home with all of the properties that these 9,856 people are searching for. And we actually have a list of 143 people that once we list your property, these are going to be the first 143 people that we reach out to and that we intend on putting ads in front of to see if they're interested in the property. So these are people that have searched for homes in your area that are looking for a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. And, just for confidentiality, the program just blanks out their phone number and their email. But basically, this is what the list looks like on our end. We got their name, their phone number, their email, as well as their buying time frame. So this one's 3 to 6 months. These two people we don't know, so those are two people we'd want to have a conversation with to see if they are actually in the market right now. If so, we have a house form for them to see. And then here's a similar property that they've been interested in. So this person looked at a Stewart home, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1737 square feet. This one, same thing, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1870 square feet. So we kind of have a sense of what they've been searching for. There's even people that are like 2-bedroom, 2-bath. But one of the things that we do put in there is the price range of the home the homes that they're looking at, to make sure that the price range that they're looking at are also the price range that you guys are at. So a lot of this process is really just playing matchmaker, right? We're kind of reverse engineering, seeing what other people are looking at on our website, and then seeing what people might not only have the budget for, but also, the area, the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, all that kind of stuff. So we've got 143 leads that we're kind of walking right into. And that's another kind of benefit of working with us, is we just have a large database of people, and we have this system that we actually can do this. It's not just, we don't just have a Rolodex of people. We've got a really sophisticated system where we can track all of this stuff. So how does that land for you guys so far?
So far, so good.
Okay, great.
No questions.
So these are the two homes that I want to take a look at with you guys. And these homes are going to be what I thought to be the most comparable homes to yours.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is, and these are all closed comps. We like to use closed. We do look at the actives and the pendings as well, but the actives, number one, we don't know if they're actually going to sell because there is no contract on them. The pendings, they are a little bit more valuable to us because we know that somebody has a contract on that home to purchase. The only thing that we don't know is we don't know the price that they're under contract for.
Okay.
You know, most of the time, if it's sold within their first few days, chances are they're getting pretty close to their list price. If it took 300 days to sell, you know, it could be close to the list price, but more often than not, it's you know, it's a lot less than the list price if it's been on the market for that long. Do you guys know this house?
We do.
665?
We know the people that live there now.
Yeah.
What's that?
We know the people that bought the house.
Oh, okay, great. So, so they purchased this home. This was for $319,000, which was, or I'm sorry, $315,000, which was almost $214 a square foot. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna look through the photos, and you guys just tell me what you guys think about the photos, and if your home, from your perspective, is either similar, inferior, or superior in terms of the condition. Not like bedrooms or square footage or anything like that, but just the condition. So there's the pool. It's like living room area, kitchen.
So I see right off they have upgraded countertops and painted cabinets. We have a different layout, different floor plan, but it's still the original tile. Our pool is the same size and shape. They look like they've maybe had theirs refinished. The steps have a trim on them, maybe a tile trim. We don't have the tile in our pool. They have a few more cabinets than we do. It's different design, different layout.
Sure.
They still have original windows.
Carpeting, look.
Yeah, we're all tile. That's the master. We updated our vanity. Looks like they updated their countertop doors. It looks like an original shower. So whenever they updated the other bathroom, they did the same thing in this bathroom. They updated the vanity.
Yeah, I'm not sure
Or
if
it
they
could
did
have
the
been an
cabinets or
upgraded
just the
build.
top.
Could have been an upgraded build, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, we had the same pool deck finish and everything.
Well, ours is pavers now.
We don't have tile in the lanai. It's painted concrete. It's the same pool, though. Well, they've got
Theirs
a
might be
knockout.
concrete.
Got a knockout in theirs.
Theirs might be a
it could
concrete pool.
could be concrete.
Mhm.
So overall, would you say that that this home compared to yours is similar, superior?
We have a few upgrades that they don't have, and they have a few that we don't have. We have
Maybe similar.
We have a metal roof on our house, so it's a 30-year metal roof. And
Do you think it's pretty similar though, given their
it
updated
is.
tile?
It is
It's
pretty
fairly
comparable.
similar, yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a wash.
Mhm.
Yeah, I kind of have the same perspective. Yeah, that's kind of the challenge with with homes, is that there's no home that's exactly the same.
No.
Every home's a little bit different, so we just kind of have to take in the entire home, given all of the features, and see if it balances out to be about similar, about superior, or about inferior. So
Yeah, I think that's pretty similar.
yeah, I thought so too.
They moved here from Connecticut or Palm Beach?
They moved here from Connecticut.
All right, the other one that I want to show you. We did look at a bunch of different properties, but we just felt that these two were going to be the two that, if an appraiser ever came in and challenged the price that we get for your home, these are going to be the two that I think are going to give you the best, are going to position your homes the best.
This house has major upgrades. Yeah, the people
You know
did
this house?
a,
You know this house?
yes, and the former owners did a lot of upgrades. I think
They're
they,
waterfront too, though.
Yeah.
We're not waterfront.
we have a pool, they don't.
But
But they-
waterfront,
They
It's
reconfigured their kitchen and stuff, and yeah.
Yeah, my thought on this, and Mirta and I were talking about this. They do have some of the, they do have, you know, a lot of upgrades. They do have the lakefront, but they don't have the pool.
Mhm.
And so, you know, that's why I thought that this was kind of in a similar, you know, kind of the similar category is you have some major features that they don't have. They've got some features that you don't have. So I think all things considered, my perspective was that it was pretty similar.
okay.
Mhm.
So, so wash. So their upgrades versus their shortcomings
Yeah.
makes it pretty level with us.
Yeah.
Mhm. So this one sold for 312. The last one sold for 315.
Mhm.
So given that, if you guys had to come up with a price that was going to be position you guys the best way possible to show the value of the home, what would be the price that you guys would come up with?
500,000. No.
So because the market's heating up, I would say probably 315.
Yeah, we might be, because these sold when the market wasn't as crazy as it is now. So we might be able to do 315
Yep.
or 309 or something like in that area.
And those were definitely factors that we considered.
Mhm.
So just so you know, we have a 20-page report that we put together, and we look at a bunch of different data points. So obviously you see all the boring graphs and everything, but these are all things that we have to consider when it comes to not only the condition of your home and how your home is positioned with the rest of the comps, but we also have to take a really good look at the market conditions. So the price that we came up with, let me keep scrolling up here.
Getting dizzy.
Building the suspense. Price that we came up with was, we believe that that your home should be able to sell for right around 324.
Wow.
My
That'd be awesome.
gut, yeah, my gut's telling me that if we could sell the home between 320 and 325, I would consider that a success.
Wow.
So in
I
order
wasn't thinking high, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think in order to create that, I would probably list the property at 325, and I would hold firm, because I really do believe that if we do get an offer for 325, it's worth every penny. I also think that based on the market conditions, 325 will also be the price that could invite a multiple offer situation. And if we have a multiple offer situation, that is the holy grail for any seller, because it then creates a bidding war, where if you have multiple people that are interested in the home, one of the key psychological aspects of being a buyer is that a buyer has FOMO. Do you guys know what FOMO is? FOMO.
I've heard
FOMO
it.
stands for fear of missing out.
Mhm.
And so when
When we bought this house, everything we were looking at was selling out from under us, and we were like, ah.
yes, yeah, so that's what's going on right now in the market. And so by positioning it as a really great value proposition, and listing at 325, which is right at, you know, where I believe it'll sell for, that'll invite a lot of full price offers. But then what'll happen is, if we have 2 or 3 full price offers, I guarantee you that one of them is going to offer above the list price.
Okay.
And maybe even all of them might, but at least one of them is going to come up above the list price, and that's how you get the most amount of money for your property.
Yeah. And so I don't know if you heard about the playhouse and the play equipment in the back. Does that factor into your decision any, or is that?
Yeah, I took that feature into consideration. That's staying with the property, right?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weighs about 2,000 pounds. So
It's not going anywhere.
Put in the yard to get it out of there.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's one of the other things too, when it comes to, like, we're going to market this specifically to
Like a
families.
family house, yeah.
Right. So it's for, not only is it about, like, we do take a little bit of a shotgun approach where it's just like we want to put as many things out there as possible, but we try to spend a lot more resources on targeting the right people. So if we're targeting the right people, getting a lot of families interested in this home, especially a feature like that with the pool, those are definitely things that resonate with families. And so we'll want to invite as many of those families to come in to see the property as possible. And if we can get families, and we're going to market it to a bunch of different types of people, but families I think are really going to appreciate generally the type of seller that you are, and the type of owner that you've been for that house is the type of buyer that we're likely to attract. You're somebody that buys the house is likely to use the house in the same way that you've used the house. Right. So we kind of take a psychographic approach and target the specific types of people that would appreciate the home the most, and then get as many of those people in the door as possible. And, all you need is one buyer, but if we can get multiple buyers in there that are interested, that have that fear of missing out, that's what can create a really exciting opportunity for you guys.
Okay.
So this is all very exciting, but we're probably going to be building our next home, and that's going to take some time.
So we'll have to see what this is still like in a few months.
Yeah. So, I mean, what are your gut feelings on the market in 6 months?
It's hard to say. I mean, I just bought a house. I'm not afraid of, I know that the market likely is going to have some sort of recession at some point. But my perspective is, depending on how long you're going to be in your next house, if you buy a house at the height of the market and you keep it for 10 years, you're going to be, history tells us that you're going to be in still a good position.
Yeah.
The other part to that answer is, if we don't list it until 6 months from now and the market conditions have changed, then that obviously is going to invite a different conversation, and we're just going to have to pivot if we have to, depending on the market conditions.
Yeah.
So we're just taking into consideration what the market conditions are right now. And I'm just curious, what is the vision for the next move? Have you guys already selected kind of the neighborhood or the builder?
We have, and we're already in talks with him and working on pre-approvals and everything. So we've got the hard part right now is actually picking out the lot, and we've got a couple of corner lots that we're interested in. We're supposed to hear something back tomorrow on which lot we're going to be able to actually get. But yeah, we've got something very similar in price and scope to this house with a few more square feet. Bigger garage. Yeah.
And brand new.
The build would be without a pool, so we would have to put a pool on top of that. So
Great.
Yeah, we're looking in the Becker area in Port St. Lucie.
Okay.
We
Great.
know we'll get more bang for our buck out there coming into a new house than we would here. Yeah, and we're looking at something that's about 2,000 square feet, so a little bigger than what we've got.
Who is that out there? Is that Ryan Homes?
It's not
there's a
Ryan
bunch of
Homes.
independents.
We're not going into a community, so there's a bunch of.
Oh, okay.
We looked at Ryan Homes. We looked at a lot. We looked at Synergy. This is actually a really small guy, small contractor. He builds 3 or 4 homes at a time.
Okay.
So he's not putting up a neighborhood.
So with the loan that you guys are looking at, are you looking at doing a construction to perm loan, or would they do an end loan for you guys?
End loan.
No, he's willing to build basically a spec house to our needs.
Yeah, nothing we're asking
So,
for is out of the ordinary. So
yeah.
it's and then we'll just have to put additional deposit if there is anything that we do ask for fancy. So
Right.
like I'm going to want extra data drops because I work in IT, and I know I want PoE cameras, and I want to be able to do, instead of having Wi-Fi on all my Apple TVs, I want to be able to wire them. So that's probably going to be an extra $1,000. So
Yeah, for sure. Okay, cool. Well, yeah, given that you're going to be doing an end loan, there's no no need to, since you're not closing on it before you would have to close, you know, the only challenge with the construction of perma loan is you would have to close on this one, close on the next one, but then you wouldn't be able to actually get into the home until it's built.
Yeah, we don't
So,
want to be.
because you could-
Yeah, we can't do
That's
that.
the, you know, if we have to do, you know, if we have to shack up with a relative for a week or two, that's okay. But
Right.
we can't be homeless for an extended period. And the rental market's crazy right now. They want, you know, well, with the no eviction laws, you know, nobody wants to rent to anybody. They're afraid.
Right.
So.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, great. Well, yeah, I love that plan, and yeah, we'll just we'll keep the conversation going, and whatever it looks like on that end. Once we get a date of completion, what usually ends up happening is that you'll get an estimated date of completion, but it's never gonna, you know, it's never that actual date. It's usually a little bit before, a little bit after. But as we get closer, we'll have a more concrete date, and by that time, we'll time it up so that we'll keep an eye on the market, just see when the average days on market is. If we need to take a buyer that's willing to do an extended closing date, like a 2 or 3 month closing date, you know, that's totally not out of the realm of possibilities. Actually, I just helped a family do the same thing about 2 weeks ago, where they were also building a house, and you know, we had a conversation similar to this at the very beginning, and then when we had a pretty good idea of when it was going to get built, we listed it about 2.5 months prior to that completion date. We got their buyer within a week, and we just asked for a 2-month closing, and everything worked out great.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I was thinking if we did it right at 60 days out and it took a couple of weeks and then you got your 30-day window for closing, I thought that would probably be perfect. So that's about what I was thinking.
Yep.
So at least, you know, right around 60 days out.
We're just hoping that the market's still going to be good for selling at that point.
Yeah. If we had the option for someplace else to live, we would probably do something sooner, but we don't want to move twice. I hate moving. I was in the Navy. I moved a lot. I don't want to move.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your service. Yeah, we'll just keep it open. We'll keep an eye on everything. You know, usually there's not a whole lot that happens before an election. So after the election, I think it'll give us some clarity on where the market's going to go. And my suspicion is that, you know, we should have more of the same in another 6 months. But again, nobody has a crystal ball. It's hard to predict that stuff. You know, it could go one way or another, just depending on speculation and a bunch of other factors. But either way, we'll work with it, whatever it ends up doing. And I'm here to, you know, Mirta and I are both here to guide you guys to your goals and help position you the best way possible.
Okay. Right. With all the advertising and marketing and stuff you guys do, I'm curious what your percentage is.
Yes. Yep. I should probably give you the price of of our service. Yeah. So we charge. We're not the cheap guys. Of course, you know, there's a lot of realtors that charge less than us. There's also realtors that charge more than us. And you know, we are a team, so you're kind of getting, you know, a whole team working for you, kind of for the price of one. Having said that, we actually charge about the same as, you know, even some part-time agents. We charge 6% of the sale price. And what we do is we open it up to every brokerage in the area, so that, you know, obviously we love to bring our own buyers, and that happens about 30% of the time. But, you know, if there's a buyer that is willing to, you know, put more money in your pocket, and they're being represented by another brokerage, we're going to say work with that buyer, and we're going to work with that broker as well by splitting that 6%, giving them 3%, and us taking the other 3%. And the way that we do our marketing is we have it set so that that 3% commission can cover the marketing expenses that we have, while also paying our staff and, you know, Mirta and I getting compensated for our service as well.
Okay. All right.
All right.
So yeah, any questions about that or anything else that we covered?
Nope.
I don't think so. I think we just need to digest everything.
Great. Well, what I'll do is I'll send you the recording so that if you want to go through the conversation again, we could definitely do that. The other thing that that Mirtz and I are going to do for you guys is do what's called a seller net sheet. And actually, do you guys know the balance that you guys have on the mortgage on that house?
217.
217.
Mhm.
All right. So Mirtz, can you just make a note of that real quick? So we'll do an estimated cost, like closing costs and everything, so that you'll have a pretty good idea. I'll do like 3 different scenarios. I'll do like a worst case scenario. I'll probably do like a, maybe 315, then do one at 320, and then another one at 325, just so you can see the difference. So we'll do 3 different scenarios there, and we'll assume a closing date of, first quarter of next year or something like that. And because part of your closing costs is a proration of your taxes. So you're actually going to be giving a credit to the buyer for the portion of 2021 that you own the property, but haven't paid the taxes, since the tax bill usually comes later on in the year.
Okay.
So if you need me to explain any of that stuff again, I'm happy to.
No, I'm good with it. Yeah, I understand it. Yeah.
But we'll do a net sheet for you, and that'll give you a pretty good idea of what you'll be walking away with, and then that'll help with your planning as well for closing on the new property.
All right.
Sounds good. Sounds good.
All right.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank
my pleasure.
you.
Talk soon.
All right.
The more we know, the more we'll tell you.
Awesome. Yeah, likewise. We'll educate you as much about this process as you want to know. So yeah, we're here to support you guys. Hello.
This is Rain.
Hey, nice to
Very
meet you.
excited to be a part of everything.
Did you guys have your first day of school today?
She did, yes.
Awesome.
Yes.
What grade are you in?
4th.
4th grade. Do you like your teacher?
Yeah, I have multiple teachers. It's also middle. I also teach middle schoolers and high schoolers.
She's in a private.
She's in a very interesting private school of the arts. So she's got
Which
acting and dancing and all sorts of fun stuff going on.
Oh, that's beautiful. Which school is it?
It's called Little Prodigy School of the Arts.
Oh, cool. I haven't heard of it, but I like the name.
Up until this year, they were actually a umbrella school for some homeschooling families and stuff. And in the afternoon, she had an arts program for singing and music lessons and all that other stuff. But they felt with what was going on, and there was a need in the area to open up full-time as a private school. So
Awesome.
we jumped.
Awesome. Very cool.
Right.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. That sounds interesting. Is it over there in Stewart?
It is. And that's one of the reasons for the location we're looking to move, because if she loves the school, we don't want to have to
Right.
move her. And
Yeah, for sure. Well, great. All right, sounds like a plan. Well, great to connect with you guys again. Enjoy the
you
rest of the week.
too.
Happy Monday, and we'll talk again soon.
Great. Thank you so much for everything.
My pleasure.
Thank you, Donna.
Bye-bye. Bye, Mirzfa.
Bye.
You guys.
Bye.